These two guys have Minnesota sports flowing in their veins. Mackey and Judd on Score North and ScoreNorth.com.
I want a mock.
Yeah.
I want
It is draft week, gentlemen. Minnesota sports with Mackey and Judd. Daily Minnesota sports entertainment, speculation, therapy. Judd is back. The first non-emergency surgery off day Judd has taken in about 14 years. Celebrating the 30th wedding anniversary.
Big weekend. But
Did I hear you bought like 18 cases of spotted cow when you crossed the border?
No.
You cheating on Surly?
I bought 2 cases.
Okay.
I bought 2 cases of.
You're still a surly man, cow. But every once in a while when you cross the border.
When in Wisconsin, you got to do what they do in Cheesehead Land, don't you?
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
And Spotted Cow is a very tasty beer. I'm not going to lie. I'm sure my friends
what they're doing in Cheesehead Land now is celebrating the departure of Aaron Rodgers. But be careful what you wish for, Packers, after 30 years of Hall of Fame quarterbacks.
Exactly right. Exactly right. But glad to be back, and it's a great week. I told the wife we got to get back. We got to get back quick because this is draft week. You know, anniversaries are important.
It's draft week.
Draft week, a playoff week. Exactly right. It's a big
we are excited. Thursday night, just a quick plug: the Surly Park Tavern draft party, Park Tavern in St. Louis Park. 6 o'clock doors open. Well, the doors open at Park Tavern at like 11, but the actual room, the 11th frame room, opens at 6 o'clock. 7 o'clock, Purple Daily streams live. No cover charge. Come on out, take in the draft with us, soak in the environment. We'll see you
for free.
The Purple do.
I'll sign for free. Bring my
Joe
red
will
pen.
sign your body parts for free. Yes.
No, I prefer to sign a piece of paper.
Let's waste no more time here. Let's get the most passionate Vikings fan we know back in the house here. Randy Vikes 69 on Twitter. It's Randy in Cottage Grove. Happy NFL draft week, Randy. How are you, man?
Good. First of all, on this party, there's good spots closer to Cottage Grove, which in case you ever want me to join, I can't get that's too far away from me.
Well, couldn't you hop in an Uber or a Lyft or something?
Get a ride.
My cellular phone doesn't support those apps.
Oh, okay. You like a flip phone? What's?
Well, it's a decent phone. It's quality. I've had it for 15 years. It's a quality phone. I sound okay, don't I?
You surprisingly, yeah. I guess you do sound pretty good. That's good. Well, maybe we can do a GoFundMe to get Randy an iPhone or something, so we can.
Maybe someone can just go pick him up.
Yeah, we'd love to have you. Maybe you could. Maybe you can float your information out on your Twitter account and see if someone can. I got
my own. As you guys know, we do it up. We do it up big. I got when it finally comes to draft night, the work is done. We've done the work and put in the time and a lot of time in my case, and then it's time to just enjoy it. See how the cookie crumbles. See how it all falls. And I think Vikes fans are going to be pretty happy with what we accomplish on Thursday night. Quezzy's got a few things up his sleeve, in my opinion.
Well, a couple things here. If you're new to the show. Randy in Cottage Grove, he is a tape grinder, okay? He is a long-time mocker. He's not one of these new age mockers. And he has correctly nailed multiple Vikings draft picks over the last few years. And last year, he mocked Brock Purdy to the Vikings in the later rounds. People laughed. People laughed at Randy in Cottage Grove.
Would have been a good call.
I agree.
Yeah. Who's laughing now? Well, I guess his elbow is laughing now. Brock Purdy might not play for a while. And then the second thing, Randy, I know last time you came on, I personally received a lot of backlash and emails and comments on the YouTube channel. People thought I was too hard on you and maybe too accusatory. It seemed like you were stealing from WalterFootball.com in your first mock with us. And a lot of people said, no, they sided with you, that it's all you're iterating. You're borrowing concepts, right? So I just want to say, listen.
What, he's sampling Walter Football? Is that what you're saying, like a rapper?
Well, I mean, that's what kind of, that was kind of the overwhelming sentiment, that I was being too hard on Randy. I just want to say I'm sorry. I'm gonna take a step back and let you have your space to do your 7-round mock today, and I won't accuse you of anything today.
Well, Thank you, and to the folks at Walter Football. We learn from each other. We explore the space. We got artists like to borrow a little bit here and there, sprinkle a little bit of something you find somewhere else, and they've done the same to me. Schrager did to me once. It happens.
Yeah, the Schrager incident.
I'll be curious to hear this one, to be honest with you guys.
The fact that Schrager still has that platform after blatantly stealing Randy and Cottage Grove's mock draft a few years ago
more popular than
appalling to me. Yeah,
Schrager's just taken off.
Yeah, it should be Randy and Cottage Grove on Good Morning Football, quite frankly.
I would. They know how to reach me.
Yeah. Do they?
On your phone from 15 years
Randy
ago?
Vikes 69.
Okay. The DMs are open. So, all right. Well, this is every year Randy comes on our show here and he gives us every Vikings pick in each round that they have a pick. And so, Randy, if you're ready, we'd love to hear your, well, I was going to say 7-round Vikings, but they only have 5 picks. And
no, we're going to get more than 5. I'll tell you that right now.
Oh.
You want your music, Randy?
Go ahead, play it.
Okay.
All right. Well, here we go. This is Randy in Cottage Grove. Randy Vikes 69 on Twitter. This is the final mock right here. The Vikings full draft mock.
Thank you. This has been a lot of work and a lot of effort. And as I said, it was tough to get this one going earlier, as early as normal, because the season was so damn interesting. And that's unfortunate because it sort of was behind the 8 ball, as they say. But now I feel confident. This is a really nice draft, and if we can emerge with a couple of these guys, maybe all of them, if I hit all of them, that'd probably be unlikely, but maybe. So here we go.
Let's do it.
In the first round, it's going to be awfully tempting to take a wideout like a Jordan Addison or maybe a Quentin Johnson if they're there. But I'm going to tell you guys right now, we're going to trade back. We're going to trade back to try to snag another pick, maybe 2. I'm going to call that trade back is going to happen with the Chiefs.
Okay. Wow. We have a trade.
Slide back to the end of the first round, and we're going to draft. Get ready for this. Hold on to your butts, as they say. Hendon Hooker.
Wow.
Quarterback of the future, really. And this is a kid. He's got, as they say, a cannon. And he can sit behind Cousins for a year if he has to. Or if we manage to unload Cousins, which by the way, I could see us doing that on draft night. Just gonna store that out.
Really.
You never know. But we're gonna go ahead and slide down to the Chiefs pick, take Hendon Hooker, and it makes me snug that we got him, late at the end of the first round, and an extra 3rd round pick is what we're gonna give from the Chiefs for that. So
okay.
Now we're feeling good. We're coming out of the first round with what a lot of people think is a top half of the round talent. Somehow got him at the end. And we got an extra 3rd, so let's go to the 3rd.
Well, real quick here, just Hendon Hooker, he's 25 years old. He's coming off an ACL. Any concerns about his age? Any concerns about he played in an offensive system that was kind of laid out very clearly for him?
So is
any concerns at all?
So is this system. Our system's laid out real clearly. You think it's not?
I mean, I guess it was laid out pretty clearly for Kirk Cousins last year.
Exactly. Hooker's the guy who. Look, we're going to trade back, and we're going to probably take Hooker there. So just get ready to like him. Get on board. He's a study. 25, that's nothing. That's nothing. We're going to get him on the rookie deal. Hendon, come on! Don't listen to this negativity. Come have.
It's not negativity.
Yeah,
we're just asking
the fact of the matter, Andy.
Yeah, doing our journalistic duty by asking questions.
Here's my journalistic duty. Does he or does he not have a cannon?
He does have a cannon attached to his body.
He's got a cannon. So I like Hooker there. Okay. If we don't take him, maybe later rounds we'll take a flyer on the UCLA kid. But I like Hooker. I like him here. Okay. And I like him getting an extra 3rd as part of the package. Let's go to the 3rd now. Get back on track here. With our first pick in the 3rd, this is where. Excuse me.
Nothing.
No,
sorry,
you're good.
Sorry.
No, just go.
Just keep
this
going.
We're good.
This is our pick, our original pick in the 3rd, and this is we're going to stay offense here. And I really like this kid Xavier Hutchinson from Iowa State. He's got great hands. He knows how to run a route and get loose. And I know that'll make KOC snug. He loves those receivers that get what they call separation. Xavier Hutchinson would be a really nice complementary piece to JJ. And I think that he's the pick here in the 3rd.
Interesting. So, Xavier Hutchinson kind of in that second wave of receivers, gentlemen. 6'3" as well. Could be a little red zone target.
He's going to fit in. He's going to fit in real nice. And then we got a pick from the Chiefs. That third rounder. And I think here we're going to go defense, and we're gonna go defense now. And this is Brian Flores is absolutely going to love this kid. That's Jarek Bernard Converse out of LSU. He's got an NFL body. He's an athlete first and foremost, and we just need more athletes. We need more athletic guys to fly around in this scheme. So Bernard Converse at the end of that third round, it makes a lot of sense to me, and that's a value pick right there at the end of the third. Got that from the Chiefs. So you turned now 23 into Hendon Hooker and Jarek Bernard Converse. That's a pretty good swap to me.
It's a cornerback. It's a cornerback, by the way, for those uninitiated.
Nice work by Quaid
there, Jarek Bernard.
Yeah, he's gonna bolster. That's just you wait. Just you wait. Get ready to get snug for defense here. Because in the fourth, here's another versatile, high upside weapon for Flores. I'm talking about Habakkuk Baldonado. Habakkuk Baldonado is the combo pass rusher out of Pitt, and this kid is a monster. He's going to move all over the field. You can line him up on the line. You can drop him back into the linebacker situation. We're going to love this guy, Flores. You're going to move him all over that D. So Habakkuk Baldonado from Pitt. He's going to be the guy in the fourth.
Okay, I don't think Thor has brought him up at all, but no. But he does exist in the draft prospect database. So
who?
Thor Nystrom. He's our draft expert that we have on Purple Daily every single week. He's our mock draft guy.
Besides you.
He doesn't watch much Pitt footage then.
Yeah, be careful, Phil. He is our expert along with Randy from Cottage Grove.
Right. So,
Randy's
our Mel Kiper, and Thor is very clearly our Todd McShay. Yep. Yes.
Yeah, he apparently never watches Pitt games. I'll just say that. Go take a peek, Thor. Okay. Habakkuk Baldonado.
Yeah, Thor. Go take a peek, guy.
Yeah, Thor.
Fella.
And now as we get in the deeper rounds, and I could see us doing a couple of trade backs, trying to snag a couple extra picks in the day 3 picks especially. But let's just go with the ones we got. And I love a good value pick in the 5th. It just makes me so excited to think about who might still be there and who might fall a little bit. Well, here's a guy, again, Thor's probably never heard of him, but Nick Hampton, linebacker out of Appalachian State. A lot of people probably don't watch a lot of many Appalachian State games. I do. I watched every single one.
Oh, did you?
Excuse me.
You've done a great job with that film. No, I don't doubt you for 1 second.
Hampton is the definition of versatility. He's a raw talent. He's a lump of clay in a good way, and Flores is going to mold him. Nick Hampton. Just you watch. Appalachian State. He's got some absolute upside.
Hey, who's the Appalachian State quarterback? Since you watch so many games.
And then in the 6th round, we're going to keep the defensive train rolling.
Okay.
We're just going to stay on defense. Quessy, they say he loves to buy low on stocks, as they say. Well, this is a potential steal here, and a guy who just only because of a little bit of injury trouble is he even available here, and that's Corey Trice from Purdue. So he's a cornerback who's got a huge wingspan. He's tall, he's lanky, and he brings that word you're going to hear a lot about the Vikings draft, and that's upside. So Corey Trice in the 6th, and that's a guy, if he's there, just go ahead and just run that card up, as they say, to a Tagliabue and get the pick in. So
Tagliabue, a couple of years ago, they replaced Tagliabue. It was like 3 years ago?
Yeah.
With Goodell.
It's a long time since he's been commissioner.
Yeah.
That's the draft.
Okay. Awesome. Well, there it is. So, Hendon Hooker in the 1st round. So you're trading back, picking up the 95 from Kansas City. You got Xavier Hutchinson for some wide receiver depth, and then some defensive players from that point on forward. Okay.
And just you watch. Go ahead and ask Thor if he's heard of Habakkuk Baldonado, because if not, go ahead and take a peek at some of that Pitt footage. This kid is absolutely versatile. So that's how it's going to go. We're going to get the keg flowing. We're going to be rocking and rolling. And I'll tell you guys this right now. This is going to be a draft that people will look back on and say that was the same week Aaron Rodgers left the division and Hendon Hooker joined the division. Score.
There he is. I think he's gone.
We got the whole thing though. I thought there might be a couple of points there where he got upset.
There's no way. There's no way that guy watched every snap of Appalachian State football last year. I'm sorry.
You know what? I mean, he predicted.
But I do trust.
I
do trust the legwork.
He did predict. I mean, I was about to make fun of him too, but then I thought back. You know, Purdy, we mocked him pretty hard for that.
No, I know.
And it turned out to be a good pick. So.
He's nailed. Didn't he nail? He nailed Jefferson. Who
was the
Janarius Robinson? He nailed like in the fourth round.
He's got like 3 guys. He's got 3 or 4.
Mike Hughes he nailed, and then I think there was another first rounder in there somewhere too. In the all in the last 5 years. He's just so. Listen, I poke because he's Randy.
Yeah. And I mean, Thor does a nice job, but he's not Randy.
Who do you think watches more Appalachian State film?
Oh, it'd be Randy.
Thor or Randy, huh?
Now, does he actually watch it and recall it because there's a keg right by him? A kegerator? Probably not. But he does watch it.
There's a Yag tap too, if I'm not mistaken. So, all right, well we got his picks here. We'll see how Randy does. A lot of quarterback steam here, and Judd, you've been gone for a long weekend here, so we want to get your thoughts on just some of the stuff Declan and I talked about yesterday on Purple Daily and some of the steam and rumors that are out there. And we have a really interesting high-profile mock that came out either last night or this morning. But a shout-out to our friends over at Nutrisource, the official dog and pet food of Mackey and Judd and Purple Daily. Maya Mackey hopping around, just absolutely drooling all over the place because she loves her Nutrisource chicken and rice and her Nutrisource treats. She gets really excited to go out, but then like after she goes potty, she gets even more excited to come back in because there are Nutrisource treats waiting for her.
And Stella is the exact same way. In fact, despite the fact that we were gone and Stella had to go stay at my sister's, the one thing Stella said is, "You make damn sure, Pop, that I got my Nutrisource and my treats. I ain't going and eating food I don't know, guy."
Yeah, fella.
Listen, you might technically own me, but I'm smarter than you are.
I own you.
And so, and so Stella said, "You make sure that you send me off with my Nutrisource." She was happy.
Same with Vinny boy. Vinny now just does the Stella trick. He's hanging out with her too much, Judd. He comes in, he just goes by the treat counter and is like, hey.
Yep.
Are you gonna?
What you got for me, guy?
What do you have for me here, fella? Come on, guy.
Yep.
Give me a treat here. Nutrisource. Vinny loves it.
NutrisourcePetFoods.com to find a Nutrisource retailer near you. Chuck and Don's if you're in the Minneapolis area. NutrisourcePetFoods.com. And hey, it's going to be 50 degrees. The Yankees are in town. If you're catching this before the game tonight, and it's a beautiful night for baseball. Beautiful night for the Twins to take their first regular season series victory, like for the season, over the Yankees since 2001. Twins.com/tickets. Old Macadac was freezing his you-know-what off at the game on Saturday. It'll be a little bit nicer here today. Twins.com/tickets. See the new unis. Probably see a Gallo bomb in there somewhere. So check them out. All right, Judd. Let's start the conversation. Let's let Peter King actually start this conversation for us.
Oh, mercy.
Dude, it is. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no.
You good?
I said, yes, sir. Go ahead.
Okay.
I want to hear this.
Okay.
Let's go. Let's talk draft.
So it's kind of incredible how, and we like to explore all angles on this show, and oftentimes we like to be early on angles. And so, like when we first started talking about on this show and on Purple Daily, the Vikings maybe drafting a quarterback, at the end of the season or whatever. I think it was met with a lot of, well, 2024 is the year that they would. Why would you draft a quarterback after winning 13 games? And you got Kirk Cousins still playing at a high level, right? And we're saying, Kwesi is a guy that looks out on the horizon here.
Yep.
It has gone so far in that direction now. Almost every single mock of the prominent mocks that come out day after day here, like the final iterations, have the Vikings drafting a quarterback in the first round. Or if they don't, there's a couple that have them drafting like Tanner McKee in the third or fourth round. So let's see what Peter King from Football Morning in America has to say. This is his one and only mock, and it's based on conversations, insighting. It's not just Peter waking up in a bathrobe saying, "I'm going to mock today because I'm Peter King."
A bathrobe.
He seems like a guy that would wake up and
put
a bathrobe
but that's
on.
quite the mental image that comes into my head
ropes.
when you say that.
With a little like King logo on the
I'm
chest.
totally not a robe guy.
No
Yeah, we
ropes.
talked about
Not
this
necessary.
I had a robe on this morning as I was prepping for our
You look like a
podcast.
I bet you
guy.
did.
Yeah.
It was great. So he's got Bryce Young going to the Carolina Panthers. He's got Tyree Wilson going to the Texans at 2. The Titans trading up to 3 to draft C.J. Stroud. Colts drafting Will Levis. And then some defensive players, Jalen Carter, Will Anderson, Bijan Robinson to the Falcons at 8. Nolan Smith. So a lot of defensive players here. The rest of the top 10. He's got the Houston Texans drafting Hendon Hooker 12.
Yep.
So which seems plausible. Go draft an elite non-quarterback number 2, or trade the pick and then draft a quarterback at 12. Mm-hmm. So if you're counting at home, that's 4 quarterbacks off the board, not in the order that has normally been mocked. And then we get down to the 23rd overall pick, where the Minnesota Vikings select, out of the University of Florida, Anthony Richardson.
I want a mock!
Here's the write-up. Easily could go earlier, as high as 4 to Indianapolis, but the Vikings would be an intriguing spot for the raw Richardson. Kirk Cousins has 1 playoff win in 5 Viking seasons. The math is not in Cousins' favor. This is year 6. He's made almost $200 million as a Viking. He'll be seeking $45 million plus to re-sign after the season. Who would be surprised if the Vikings wanted to start fresh in 2024 if this is another one of those years? What do you think of this? What do you think of Anthony Richardson? Has now popped up in 2 or 3 different mocks. There was one we did. Was it Schrager? We did one where it was like they traded up to 10
Yes.
to get him yesterday.
Yes. So, first of all, this might be the most unknown, exciting first round of my lifetime. Like, when you think about the variables, and yes, a lot of it is driven by the fact that I feel like, and it's a lot of fun, more people are now on the Score North reckless speculation train. Like, it's just more fun. So I'm not surprised that with all of the draft experts and draft discussion that, like, we don't know. But just to be clear, the Vikings very much, while interested in a quarterback, I think the whole conversation is there's so many variables here and unknowns of those quarterbacks in the first round and where they might go, that it's far bigger than like a Vikings conversation. It's a league conversation. Who likes whom? There certainly does not appear to be a consensus on one guy is the top of the class. Perfect example, Cam Newton. Cam Newton in that draft was the top of the class, and there were other quarterbacks, and we didn't know exactly how they would fall, but we knew Cam Newton was going 1. We don't even know that. There's a report out there today that supposedly Levis is telling people that he's been informed by Carolina he'll go first. And so, like,
maybe write that down point for old Macadac if that happens.
Vegas has changed, yeah, and some books now have changed their odds dramatically to reflect that. I saw one book is just taking the draft off the board. They're like, screw it, we can't keep up because that's
lazy. That's weird.
Because
this is all too confusing.
Well, I don't know. What I'm saying is it's 2 conversations. One is the quarterback conversation as a whole in a league where we don't know what the hell is exactly going to transpire at 7 o'clock on Thursday night. The other is the Vikings. Now, in the Peter King thing, I do not see the Vikings having a chance to get Richardson at 23. I don't think he's there.
Well, so Chad, I was trying to remember who it was. It was Chad Reuter, who we would all agree is a very underrated, prominent, plugged-in mocker, right?
Plugged in.
He has the Vikings in his 7-round mock that came out yesterday for NFL.com, trading up to like 10th, I want to say, or somewhere around there to get Anthony Richardson.
Yes.
And then it was Jamie Eisner, the COO of Draft Network, who's also fairly plugged in. I believe, Dex, he had the Vikings trading up to like number 2 or 3 to get Will Levis.
And that's out there now, is that the Vikings have inquired with the Cardinals and I think likely the Texans, because those teams are looking to move those picks. So those 2 teams have gotten countless calls. It's not just a Quasi and Vikings thing, but the Vikings have called. So, like, if you look at this, again, I think what makes this so intriguing is the Vikings, I think, have like 4 things, like 4 scenarios or 5, right? It's not like we got to get this one guy. I think they've identified guys, and they probably like everybody from Stroud to Hooker to a certain degree. But what makes this so intriguing is because they're now being run by a guy with a stock market background, I think they're looking at all the stocks, So they're not just saying, well, if we don't get that one stock, screw it, right?
Yeah.
I think they're looking at everything, making calls, and judging the potential of what the cost of a potential trade move up, a significant move up, would be. That's what makes this so much fun. We have no clue, and I don't know that the Vikings know yet exactly how this is going to go down when we get to Thursday night.
So some other recent, so we gave you, there's a couple trade up for Anthony Richardson's in here, trade up for Will Levis. These are some of the other recent iterations of prominent mocks. Matt Miller, ESPN.com, has the Vikings drafting Hendon Hooker. Todd McShay's latest mock draft has the Vikings drafting Hendon Hooker. Daniel Jeremiah's most recent mock draft has the Vikings drafting Hendon Hooker. Bruce Feldman, Hooker. Charles Davis, Will Levis. The football guys, Will Levis. So it's just, and there's a couple receivers sprinkling here and there. I feel like the entire mock drafting community has just gone tunnel vision for Vikings and quarterback. Another thing to throw at you here, Judd. Actually, I don't think Declan and I talked about this yesterday either, so this is for all of us. But there was a report from Albert Breer that came out, SI.com's Albert Breer, on Dalvin Cook. And he writes, another name to watch as a potential trade target this weekend will be Dalvin Cook. The Vikings have been communicative with their star tailback and receptive to the idea of bringing him back, but it just won't happen at the rate of $11 million that he's due this fall. Minnesota hasn't shopped Dalvin Cook, but if it comes away with a back in the first 3 rounds, I'd bet the Vikings will be open to the idea of moving him on Saturday. Of course, I'd imagine a team trading for him would want to amend his contract as well.
I'm not buying that plant. You're telling me the Kwesi has not shopped him? Like, there's reports actively out there that he's going to.
Well, this is from the Vikings, right?
Yeah,
like
but
I'm
saying
this can only come from the Vikings because another team couldn't confirm that the Vikings haven't shopped Cook. Only the Vikings could confirm
and
that.
I'm not buying it.
So this is a Vikings plant for sure.
Because I mean there are credible reports out there that something with the Dolphins is in the works or has been. So like if you're telling me right now that the Vikings, after re-signing Madison to a fairly substantial contract, are like, oh, you know what? We forgot. What, Kwesi? We forgot to shop Dalvin. Like, come on, give me a break. I think the problem is this. I think the Vikings are faced with, and they seem to be rebelling against it, but it's just the truth. If the Vikings are going to trade Cook, they're going to get a late round pick. And they must have thought, you know, oh, we can get a 3rd or 4th round pick. And it's just crystal clear that nobody wants to give you a 3rd round pick for an aging out back. And in the world of backs, he's aging out. Yeah. So I'm not buying this for 1 second. It's a plant. Again, I'll go back to saying this. If the Vikings want to get a substantial package or a high draft pick for a player, it's Danielle Hunter. Mm-hmm. Like, that's the one name that you could get perhaps a conditional 1st, but like a 2nd or a 3rd for sure, or a couple of picks. So he's one, and the second guy is Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. So interesting. I would be shocked if a Kirk trade happened before the 1st round. If they wound up drafting a quarterback in the 1st round and it was a guy that they were going to probably start in week 1, then maybe they would look to pull the trigger before day 2 to get picks for this year. But then, you know, you'd have to swallow $38 million in cap if you traded Kirk before June 1st. So it just, but again, who knows? We don't know what these guys are thinking. Everything's on the table right now.
Dex?
I think the Dalvin Cook thing is for real. I think the Dalvin Cook part from Albert Breer is legit. I think they're taking a back here, as in they're going to take a running back. Alexander Massen's re-signed, and they don't, at least for now, they don't trust Wangu to be that backup guy.
Well,
so why not?
Ty Chandler, I think, but he's never played,
Maybe.
Right? So
yeah, he's never played.
Right, but they'll give him he gets a chance. I bet.
I think they're going to take a back. I kind of buy this. I think they'll take a back by day 2. I think they're going to take a running back potentially in the 2nd or 3rd round. I'd be shocked if Bijan falls them at 23, and I don't see a scenario where they trade up to get Bijan Robinson.
Also, our friend Eric Eager from previously the VP of research at Pro Football Focus, now over at Summer Sports, he put out something on Twitter that, like, the analytics community, if you are really ingrained in the analytics community in football, drafting a running back in the 1st round is a complete non-starter. And that's how Kwesi aligns. So with that, but then Rick Spielman came out on the other side of the coin, did an interview with Doogie, And Rick Spielman's like, Bijan Robinson is a talent you can't possibly pass up, right?
Yeah.
Trade up to the 5th pick to get a running back.
Yeah. No, I agree, Dex. I think that they very well might take it back. What I'm saying is this notion that they haven't been shopping him, they're hoping to get more, and they just have to realize that they're not going to. Like, if you want, that's fine. Trade him, get a 6th-round pick, move on. That's what I think is crap. But that's being planted, as Phil just said, by the team itself.
Yeah.
Like Dalvin Cook at this age, that position, no way. A question before we go for both of you guys. Do you think a quarterback, one of these guys falls to 23?
Yes. Well, what do you mean one of these guys? I mean Hooker. I think
will be there.
one of the 5 quarterbacks falls.
One of those 5.
I actually think there's a chance only 3 quarterbacks are off the board before like the 20th pick. Ooh. I think if some of these guys start falling into the teens, then teams are going to move up to get them.
What I think. Yeah.
But I just, it's not. There's so many projects. You could argue that 3 of the 5 are guys that you would ideally sit for a year. Mm-hmm. And then of the other 2, one just scored reportedly an 18 on the cognitive test out of 100. And of course, I know the guy. We'll talk to Throw about this. The guy that runs the cognitive test came out yesterday on McAfee and stuff. Well, some of those scores were inaccurate. Has anyone from CJ Stroud's camp come out, his agent, anyone, in the last 48 hours or 72 hours and said he did not score an 18? It's so if this is like a PR nightmare for him, right? Wouldn't you come out and say this is false if it was false? So really, like if you account for all the factors, there's only one.
Except Phil, teams know. So like they might not care. Like it's the public.
I think you would care though, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you want to just squash that?
Not if it's not going to affect you though internally with teams. I'm just saying like there could be reasons why they don't. I don't know exactly. But like teams all get the scores. So it's not like oh my God, 18, we're done there. I just think this entire thing, I think Richardson doesn't get out of the teens. I think if he starts to fall, Hooker, I don't know. I still can't tell if the Hooker thing is all a big smokescreen plant.
Yeah, well, we'll find out in a couple nights. All together at Park Tavern. Come hang out with us. 6 o'clock, doors open, 7 o'clock, streaming on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. And over on Purple Daily today, our guy Thor Nystrom with some reckless draft speculation. So check that out as well. Minnesota Sports with Mackey and Judd.